Hey, thanks for making it to Veterans Info Tap. I'm glad you made it. Let's talk about the intent to file, how it's good for 12 months, but you can extend that. It's very, very important to understand how important it is to maintain your earliest effective date. Sometimes you're busy gathering things, life gets in the way, you have all the documentation in different places. Maybe it's at a doctor's office, maybe it's in your service treatment records, maybe you're trying to order things, maybe you forgot, maybe life happened, right? So let's talk about the intent to file, how important that is, how you can extend it out even longer if need be to maintain that earliest effective date, and talk about some of the appeal processes that you can also utilize through this to effectively maintain that earliest effective date, resulting in large back pay, right? Sure, it sucks that they didn't decide it up front, but it's not so bad when you get a large back pay from a successful VA claim. With that, hit the thumbs up, subscribe, share with a friend, all that good stuff. I truly appreciate it. The two asks, hit the thumbs up, and let the video run. That pushes this information out to others. Look, you might be 100% permanent in total. You got SMC. Everything's great as far as your VA claim stuff is concerned. But let's help out our brothers and sisters out there by giving them the information they need. If you want to support the channel in other ways, consider being a member. I appreciate all you members so very much. I do my best to get back to you in the comments. You can go to the homepage. You'll see the highlighted members there and the join button. Thank you so much again to all you members. All right, so let's jump into it here. I'm going to give you the definition or the information directly from the VA site. I'll chime in a little bit with it as well from my own kind of thoughts on it. So on the VA site, what is an intent to file? An intent to file sets a potential start date or effective date for your benefits. If you notify us, the VA, of your intent to file and we approve your claim, you may be able to get your retroactive payments. Retroactive payments are payments for the time between when we received and processed your intent to file and when we approved your claim. So you put in an intent to file here, you file your claim here, they approve your claim here, they're going to back pay you to there. There's always nuance. There's some situations where they can't back pay you all the way to that because maybe you weren't diagnosed for anything until here, right? So there's all kinds of different kind of scenarios, but for the most part, most people will be back paid to that effective date of the intent to file. So moving on here, it says, you can notify us of your intent to file if you plan to file a claim or supplemental claim for these types of benefits. Now let's stop here for a second. If you file an intent to file, must you file a claim? No. No, you don't have to. Is there any sort of penalty or problem if you do not file a claim within 12 months, the expiration of that intent to file? No, there's absolutely no issue. I know personally people who are not at 100%, that they just, as soon as they're done with the claim, they just file another intent to file for, just in case I come up with something, or just in case one of my conditions get worse, or just in case a secondary comes into play. So it harms you nothing, not at all. So let's do this again. You can notify the VA of your intent to file if you're planning to file a claim or a supplemental claim for these types of benefits. Disability compensation, which is going to be your most probable. But guess what? If you're filing for VA pension, which is a safety net program, low, no income veteran situation, and surviving spouses, by the way, can also file for VA pension. You can also file an intent to file for that, okay? And then same thing with dependency and indemnity compensation, DIC. You can file the intent to file for that as well. So disability compensation, pension benefits, and dependency and indemnity compensation can all have that intent to file. How do you notify the VA of your intent to file? You can submit an intent to file form online right now, right? You could just go to the VA's website. You could type in VA intent to file, and you can click on the hyperlink and go from there. You can essentially, you start a claim. If you start a claim online, it automatically triggers the intent to file. Now, there's a couple boxes on that intent to file. If you're doing it by paper, one says compensation, one says pension. You do not need to know anything further than that. You don't need, if you're doing pension, then you're going to do pension. You're checking that. If you're going to do compensation, you're going to check compensation. Compensation is for disability compensation, my bad knee, my bad back, whatever it is. Check compensation. You do not need to specify what you're going to be filing your claim for. So you don't need to label anything. You don't need to say, I'm filing for migraines, I'm filing for my ankle, I'm filing for my back. You don't need to say any of that. You just say, I'm going to be filing for compensation, and I'll let you know when I do on the actual claim form. So don't worry about that. Some people don't file an intent to file because they think they have to have a whole list of things they're going to file for. You don't. All right. Here is a very easy way to file an intent to file. You can call the VA at 800-827-1000. 800-827-1000. Call them and say, hey, I'm veteran so-and-so. You know, I'm going to be filing a claim here at some point, and I just wanted to file an intent to file with you over the phone. They will do that for you. My suggestion, no matter how you do it, is call back in a few days and check to make sure that they actually have an intent to file in place for you. Make sure you understand when that expiration date is, if you will. You want to make sure that you file your claim within that 12-month period, okay? So the form, if you're doing a paper form, it's 21-0966, 0966, 21-0966 is the form. Now, let's talk about what happens when you have your intent to file in place, okay? You should absolutely be gathering. The first thing you should do, file your intent to file. Bam, that's done. Now that buys you 12 months of time to file your claim, preserve that effective date. You need to start gathering all your evidence. Make a list of all your conditions, inside and out, head to toe. Talk with your spouse or significant other and make a list. Then what you're going to want to do is figure out what of these conditions can you trace back to your time in service. Now, remember, it's not solely the military caused this, but rather it either manifested during my time in service or as a result of my time in service. Okay, that's a different kind of perspective, right? You might not know why you got migraines all of a sudden, and now you have migraines. You can't, there's nothing that stands out during your time in service that bam, now I have migraines all the time. But they manifested during your time in service, and that's just as good. So you need to think about that and list down everything and think about what did you experience during your time in service? What sort of ailments can you trace all the way back to there? Now, it could have just been the first kind of peakings of it, right? Maybe it was a migraine once a month, right? But now it's twice a week. That's fine. You're going to want to gather all of the evidence you can. You need to have three things. Primarily, there's little things that fall off of that, but basically your time in service creates your window of opportunity. 2, you need to have a diagnosed condition. You must be diagnosed for that condition. That condition must be chronic in nature or have some sort of residual effects. Okay, it has to be an ongoing problem. Okay, so number 1, time in service, window of opportunity. 2 is that diagnosed condition. 3 is the nexus, the link between the diagnosed condition and your time in service. Now, if you got diagnosed while you were in service, that automatically creates the nexus. You're good to go, simply based on the dates. However, if your time in service was here and you got diagnosed out here, you need to build a bridge back to your time in service. Now, you might have some evidence in your file. Maybe you did a self-attesting complaint about something. Maybe you checked a box that said, you know, I have migraines or I've had headaches, right? Maybe that's somewhere in your file, but you were never diagnosed. You still need to get your diagnosis of migraines in this example, and it probably wouldn't hurt to get a Nexus Letter. Get that Nexus Letter. You can work with your doctor on your Nexus Letter. That's fine. Make sure that they add in all the rationale and all the VA speak. If your doctor won't do it or doesn't quite understand exactly what the VA wants, you can use American medical experts. They're offering free consultations. Have a conversation with them. Information's free. I'll drop the link in the description and the comments so it's there. Now, got your Nexus letter, you got whatever evidence you could pull together, your diagnosis, maybe buddy statements, statements from family members, a statement from yourself, all of that stuff. You're going to get all that stuff together. You might also want to get a DBQ, disability questionnaire, completed so you can try to get the appropriate rating, right? Should you be a 10%, a 30%, a 50% for your migraines? Utilizing the schedule of ratings and understanding what information the VA needs to see in that disability questionnaire is going to be vital. You can have your doctor complete it, or if they don't do it or you're not quite sure how to get them to fill it out, again, you can use American Medical Experts. The information's in the link in the description. So now you have all of that information. If you needed to order your records, you can order your records, your service treatment records from your time in the military by utilizing the SF-180 form. That's going to pull in all that information for you. Now, let's just say that you're up against the wire with your intent to file and you don't have the opportunity to get everything you need, right? My suggestion is use whatever you have. Take whatever evidence you have. Maybe you're still waiting on some information. Maybe you're waiting on your service treatment records. Maybe they haven't shown up yet. Maybe the doctor, maybe you stumbled through some things. It took you a while. Maybe you were working with somebody, but they didn't quite do it right. Maybe you want to get something better. Now you're using somewhere else and you're getting all your information in. But now it's like 11 and a half months and your intent to file is going to expire. File your claim anyway with every single condition that you would file for if you had all of the evidence ready. Don't leave anything off. File for everything, even if you don't even have one single piece of evidence for a specific condition. Why? Because you want the process to continue. That action in itself will preserve that effective date as the earliest effective date. And now the VA has the ball in their corner. Now they're going to do one of two things. They're going to approve you, deny you, right? So they're either going to approve or deny. They're going to deny some of those conditions that you filed for because you didn't have all of the necessary evidence, and that's fine. You knew that was going to happen. But now you have the ability to file a supplemental claim. Very important, because now after the VA decides your claim and says, hey, we're going to approve you on these two, but these other three that you filed, we don't have all the information. We're denying you on those three. Cool. I'm going to file that supplemental claim within 1 year, right? Hopefully I've already gotten all my information, but let's say it took another 3 months. Now I got all my information in for those other three conditions. Now I'm going to put together my supplemental claim. It's within 1 year time frame from the decision date. File my supplemental with the additional evidence, and now the VA has everything they need. They can then rule in my favor and potentially back pay me if everything leads back to that time frame. We'll back pay you all the way to that earliest effective date. Very, very important. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you. Have a great one, and remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.